Welcome back, fans. By popular viewer request, I think we had 4 votes. And you can blame Mikko in Finland to break the three-way tie. So with 4 votes, we have a 2001 Kirby G6 for a whole house cleaning. And let me go over some of the upgrades / modifications that I've done to this one. Even though I have several different brush rolls, today I'll be using the, I guess, highest end or most standard brush roll in the newer Kirbys, the stiff oblique one. And this one's got a few years on it. It's not brand new, but the bearings are just fine and the bristles are in fabulous shape. They're great, almost like no real wear at all. I suppose this thing could use a little more of a shine. Last time I shined it up was probably about 1.5 years ago. It could use a little bit extra. I have replaced the bag. That's a replacement Kirby bag. It's got a little more airflow and it's a little bit thinner. And initially I didn't like it because it's kind of like silky. The thing is it offers just a little more airflow. And this one right here with the still older style emptor that is compared to say a Centria 2 or an Avalier, I'm getting about 120 nozzle CFM. Got a clean bag in there, but what I'd like to call your attention to is that big giant cord. That is a real genuine OEM 50-foot Kirby cord, and that is a monster. I mean, look at all that. And it's wonderful to have all that extra length, but you see how much it fills these cord hooks top and bottom. I mean, I can barely get it wound around there. But it's incredible. And I got it for a couple reasons. The first one was, all the other ones have a 32-foot cord, and I wanted to try something different. And the other reason was the difference in price between the 32-foot and the 50-foot cord was like $2.50 about 1.5 years ago. And I said, oh, I'm definitely going to try this, because the original cord, I got this machine, it was pretty trashed, had a lot of problems. The original cord was actually cut, soldered together, black tape, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to deal with that. So I got a 50-foot cord. And cord-wise, this thing is fantastic. Plug in once per floor, and you just don't even have to think about doing anything else. Now, something else I want to mention is I've got a new transmission in here, but I've also replaced various transmission parts, that is gears, belt, so on and so forth. Part of the handle spring assembly's been modified. It's a little hard to see in there. I probably have to turn the flash on for you to see that. Let me see if I can do that live. I didn't do it. Okay, so I thought I could do it. Probably when I next turn the thing back on, it would flip on. But there's a little gap right in here that's difficult to see. And I had to make a little modification cutout for a transmission overhang. And what's so interesting is now this machine has the sound, the transmission sound, that's like the newer Centria / Avaliers, because it doesn't make that grinding noise when you are pushing the handle assembly back and forth. It's much, much quieter. I think it makes a tiny bit of noise, but compared to my G4, G5, and this G6 before I made the transmission upgrade, it didn't, it's so much quieter. It does not exhibit any of the grinding that you get. It's really fantastic. So we've got an upgraded brush roll, we've got an upgraded transmission, we have, I guess, maybe an upgraded bag. Maybe it's giving me a couple more CFM, but it's just really more of a new bag than anything else. And we've got nice new clean HEPA bag in there. I think it's only been run for a couple of minutes to make sure that I installed it properly. So without further ado, let's get to house cleaning. definitely won't get under low furniture. It gets under a few inches or so. It definitely doesn't do low furniture. So it leaves nice carpet lines. In fact, it kind of leaves no carpet lines at all. You see a little bit of that triangle effect in there? That's just because I was doing it at an angle. So this leaves your carpets, the pile, raised up and fluffy, especially with that stiff oblique brush roll. It does a really nice job. Alright, so I'm going to do the doggy bed, but you can't just put the Kirby on top of it. That won't work out very well. I'm going to get a hose, and I got a choice really of this particular brush or this particular brush. Now this is specifically an upholstery tool. There's not really a whole lot of agitation with this. I mean, this is a smooth cover or a cap. If you take that off, you can get a little more airflow. This is kind of like a little restrictor plate in here, and it will provide a little more agitation from the edges. You can hear that. But I like this bristled one right here. It's actually fairly stiff bristled, and it does a pretty decent job, and it's wide enough that it can clean quickly. Right? Like you guys haven't seen how to do Kirby conversions about a bazillion times on YouTube. So not a big deal. But I will say this, I do agree with the people that if you want to constantly go back and forth between nozzle and some kind of a brush or hose, and then back to a nozzle, and then back to another, I mean, that's got to be kind of a pain, because you'd have to keep taking the hose on and off. So what I do is, I do everything with the power nozzle first, and then if I'm going to do a round 2 with this particular machine, I don't always, then I'll convert it to the hose, and I'll use whatever accessories I need, and I'll do round 2. And believe it or not, it makes everything go very smoothly, nice, and I don't have to sit there and reconvert over and over and over again. I just do it one time, and that's the end of it. So I'm going to go and put this thing on here, and hopefully I put it on tight enough. So with Kirby's, it's push and twist. You have, let's see if I can bring that close. You have like these little marks in here, and it's a friction fit. And if you get that in just right, put it in there, right, and then give it a little twist, that's pretty good. In some cases on my other videos, I do it so quickly, I just forget to twist hard enough and then it ends up popping off. But if you do it right, it doesn't pop off. It's good. Some of this stuff is so stuck, I have to pull it out by hand, and that's just the nature of this type of fabric. So I won't bore you with too much of pulling this stuff off, but that's just kind of what you got to do. But it makes sure that I get the dog hair off of there, but this does take a few minutes. It cleans it, but it leaves a mess on the bristles. That's probably enough of that. See, came clean. Took a little effort, just a minute or so. By the way, if you were wondering, said, what's a airflow of the end of the hose of a Kirby converted into canister mode? And it's more than you think if you've never had a chance to play with one. For this one right here, it varies a little bit per machine. The newer machines have more. The Centria 2 Avaliers have 120 CFM at the end of this hose stretched out, and this particular model has about 108 CFM. It's an older model, and this emptor bag isn't as efficient as it could be, and the bottom line is this thing still has well over 100 CFM, so good for all types of cleaning. Okay, Rosie, you gonna let me vacuum in here? Well, this Kirby does over vent grates here. No problem. It doesn't catch anything. And you can do a little bit under the bed, maybe 6 to 8 inches or so. Is very easy to maneuver. It's got this square handle rather than the newer round handles, and I like this one. See if I can make a thumbs up. I like this one, the square handle, better than the newer round handle. It's a little less bulky, and it really just turns on a dime. Another view of some carpet lines. I like that. Not a whole lot of divisions in there. You can make a triangle effect if you want to. So, kind of pleasurable. Well, Rosie insists on helping me. Oh, well, maybe she's going to go away. Because when I turn this on, it creates airflow, and she hears that noise, and she just loves kind of biting at the air. So I've converted to the upholstery tool for the couch. See what happens. See how much interference Rosie provides. All right. He's not so much into it at the moment. You can hear the motor strain when I put this down, because except for these little suction relief channels right here, this will make a complete seal to this fabric. Oh, you interested now? There we go. There we go. Now she wants to play with it. That's right. Now she's going to help me out now, huh? Yeah, you're going to help me out now, huh? Yeah, dogs love air and water, apparently. So this does a nice job, and it's very easy to push forwards and backwards. It should be good for all kinds of delicate fabric as well. If I switch to this one, it's got more agitation. And it's much harder to push forward. Pulling backwards okay, you can do that and it's just fine. But it might not be the best for delicate fabric, I suppose. It could ruffle the feathers up too much, so to speak, if you don't want that. But it'll certainly agitate and scrape off any surface dirt. And there's plenty of airflow with it, even with this large head. Let's see if I switch back. Show you what this does. And that just picks it up completely. It doesn't come off. Alright. Ah! Alright, let go. Oh, I'm going to have to turn the machine off. Yeah, so you can see what concentrating the airflow does. So no damage done here, little airplane pillow. But that small nozzle surface definitely concentrates the airflow. So if that's what you want, and it's something that's very easy to push forward and backward with not a lot of agitation, then use this. If you need a little less airflow, you want something with more agitation, then use this. So I'm thinking, since Miko doesn't have any tools, that I would go over some of these tools here. So this is a full tool set. Might even have a few extras jammed in here somewhere. So I'll kind of call these out. You've got yourself a hose, and you know, believe it or not, depending on what model gear you have, this hose varies in length. I've seen it as short as, like, say 6.5 feet and as long as 8. It just depends on the model year machine you have. Why they varied the length of the hose by about a foot or so, I don't have any idea, but they did. So you've got a particular tool here you've already seen me use. And these are even removable. I mean, I suppose for cleaning, but I guess you could use this just like this. I mean, you could take a pillow and with something larger, you know, I assume you take this out to go and clean it, but you could also just use this just like this right on the floor and just have a larger nozzle. So, I mean, that's kind of up to you. And you've got the upholstery tool, the regular upholstery tool with the suction relief on it. And you can remove that and use it that way if you want to. Although I guess on carpet here, I can't push it forward with this on here. This makes it much slipperier to move forward, so it's much nicer that way. Let's see, you've got bare floor tool right here, and this one is the older style. The newer style has a much larger opening right in here. This has a little agitation. It's got some nice little rubber wheels. and it pushes along just fine. I guess you could use it on carpet, but with this power nozzle, I don't know why you'd want to use it on carpet, but it'll go in underneath low furniture and do bare floors just fine. It's great. Let's see, you've got this little crevice tool, and you've got a little agitator doohickey here on the end that is removable. And this will bend a little bit, although I wouldn't recommend bending it a whole lot. See, this one's got some use to it. It's got some wear marks, to be sure. And this comes in handy. Works just fine. You've got this angle right here that fits on the end of wands, and it's got a suction relief valve. So if you're doing bare floors or whatever else you might be doing, you can put it on the end anywhere, kind of like build your own. Put it on here and adjust your airflow, really. You have this thing, and this is kind of somewhat worthless. I don't recommend using it because it has this tiny, tiny little hole in here, and it really strains this motor. When you use this motor just howls in protest. And I think on the newer Kirbys, it even says in the manual, don't use this for any extended period of time. Because look, it just blocks off the airflow. If you want to use this to deflate something, why don't you just deflate it without using this? I mean, just let the air out all by itself. You don't have to use a vacuum cleaner to deflate something. Not normally, I would think, anyway. All right, you've got some wands here. Get the dusting brush in a minute. You got two wands. I think these are 18 inches each, so you can put them together, right? And you can even go, and I know this is going to be somewhat out of frame, you can put this on here, and you can put a wide variety of little parts that I threw over there back onto this and create all kinds of mishmash of things. That's what kind of makes using these above the floor tools or bare floor tools fun, depending on how you want to use them. Nice dusting brush. I think this is horsehair. Looks like horsehair, smells like horsehair, especially if you get it wet. And this is great. You know, this works just fine. Does a nice job. It's fairly soft. It's not uber soft. Don't dust your TV and stuff with that. Anything that's super sensitive, this isn't that soft. So, but it's nice. It works very well. So you have here the strap to hold your hose. And this is part of the shampooing section, or you could say painting section. So you can put some stuff in here, some shampoo solution or paint. You got a little dip tube in there. Mix it with some water, or maybe just water if you want to spray water. I don't know why you want to do that. And you go and put, oh, let's see, there it is. You put this little diffuser end on, or not, depending on what you want, and this can create neat little foam trails, you know, like maybe 2-3 inches wide. It's kind of fun to use. I use it on the stairs personally when I want to shampoo the stairs. So that's kind of nice. It has a little trigger right here, and you go and insert the hose right in the back and use it like that. And this carries so much solution, I could probably do 2 full flights of stairs 100% carpeted and not run out. So you've got the conversion handle. So you click this thing on here and grab it, and then you can use it converted. That's nice, handy. I use that a lot on stairs. This is another one of those ridiculous things, just like this. They say this is like a massage cup. You kind of, you know, go on your top of your head. They show you in older Kirby videos. It's kind of ridiculous. Or try to do it with the dog, or maybe like on the fabric or whatnot. I haven't found a whole lot of use for this, but hey, maybe you will. And these are fairly soft rubber, and these do bend. They definitely do. Let's see here. Here's the pig nose, or they call it like an intake guard. And if you go and want to use this in a blower mode, this fits on right here in the front. And then you can use this, and it just basically, well, it does 2 things. It turns the machine on, because if you have it like this, the machine just won't come on. So this turns the machine on and it makes sure that it can't suck anything up that might hurt the machine. It's got slightly protective grating in there. So it's pretty good. And then you can use this as a blower mode by taking this off and putting the hose on here. And what's the last thing here in my bag of tricks? So you've got this brush here, and this is kind of neat. Let's see, I forget the name for it offhand, but this is pretty neat, and it works fairly well. You know, this thing spins when you hook it up to the hose, and you know, you put it on fabric and whatnot. You don't want to push hard because this thing will slow down, but it spins. I mean, it really spins. And I know 25, almost 30 years ago, when these started becoming popular, that this particular tool was very popular and rated very highly. But I think its design may have reached its limit personally. I don't use this that much anymore because some of the newer upholstery brushes that have kind of spinning turbines in them, I think the newer ones do a bit better, and they're not nearly as bulky as this. Zip brush. The zip brush. Just couldn't remember the name. Too many vacuums and too many names for pieces. Okay, now time for some shaky camera action, I guess. So you hear how quiet that transmission is? It's wonderful. No more grinding. See, Rosie's guarding the couch. She knows that's where I'm going to go next. No problem with grates. Alright, I'm going to use this upholstery tool with the stiffer bristles on doggy bed number 2. And I don't think so much of the fiber should get stuck in here because this is a completely different nap. Let's see what happens. Well, that looks pretty clean. So yeah, that other nap just liked to kind of come off, and this one likes to stay on where it should. Sorry for forgetting what the zip brush was. Forgot the name. I remembered it later. Alright, thanks for watching. And all those people who wanted the G6, here's your video. And I think the Hoover Convertible will probably be next. Like, comment, and subscribe. Until then, happy vacuuming. Alright, kind of as an afterthought, this is 50 feet of cord. So let me see if I can show you what it's like winding up 50 feet of cord. It just goes and goes and goes. Sometimes you have to be a little creative. And I'm still going. I'm just about running out of cord hook space. And I got the little catch right here. And we're done. Sheesh. Long cord.